In a small roadside restaurant in Korea, a group of government officials were drunk and started to make a scene and even started to fight. The loud noise attracted the owner, who was preparing food in the kitchen. The owner shouted loudly, causing them to stop in shock. The owner appeared with a meat cleaver in her hand and declared that if they continued to make a scene here, they would definitely not be able to walk out of this restaurant alive. The group was terrified because they had never seen such a fierce woman before, so they immediately gathered their money to pay and quickly ran away before the woman in front of them lost control. No one knew that this owner used to be a notorious leader when she was young. It's just that now she has a family and wants to live a peaceful life. Despite being so fierce, when she comes home, Kang is a docile daughter-in-law. She is too busy with work to take good care of her family. Kang-ja also has a daughter who is at a rebellious age. Little Aran was upset every time her mother gave her an old-fashioned scarf. No one would use this scarf anymore. Kang-ja hurriedly chased after Aran and stuffed some pocket money into her hand. Kang-ja had also gone through a period like that. She often argued with her parents before, so now she could sympathize with her daughter. Kang-ja had no idea that her daughter was often bullied at school. Aran was a kind girl, so when she saw her best friend being harassed by girls, Aran stood up to protect her best friend. This was seen by the class monitor nearby. He called the school boss to come and rescue her. The school boss, Bak Dong, quickly appeared behind the bullies. As soon as the girls saw Bak Dong, they immediately became obedient. They were scared and quickly left. Bak Dong sat down in front of the two and said that it was best for Aran and her best friend to go home and not stay nearby. The best friend on the way home felt very guilty that Aran was involved. However, Aran did not care about this because they were friends. Aran would be willing to help. The sky suddenly started to rain heavily. Kang-ja stayed home because she was worried about her daughter, so she took the car to pick her up. But when she saw Kang-ja appear at the school gate, Aran was very upset. She quickly pulled her mother to hide in a corner. Aran asked why her mother came here and was wearing the old uniform. Kang-ja was disappointed that her daughter felt ashamed of her. Aran quickly ran back to her best friend, leaving her mother alone. Kang-ja sadly walked alone in the rain. Coincidentally, this scene was seen by a young teacher. The teacher mistook Kang-ja for a student and forbade her from drinking alcohol. Kang-ja tried to explain that she was not a student, but the teacher thought it was a lie. Kang-ja angrily cursed the teacher and immediately left. When Kang-ja returned home, Aran had already gone to bed. Kang-ja gently entered the room to check if her daughter was sick. Kang-ja was surprised to find many bruises on her daughter's body. Kang-ja angrily asked why her daughter was injured like this. Aran lied that she fell down because she didn't want her mother to worry, but Kang-ja knew that these injuries were definitely from being beaten. At this moment, her husband heard the commotion and ran in to stop her. Kang-ja returned to her room in a bad mood. Tomorrow she would go to school to find out who dared to bully her daughter. However, her husband thought that if she did, the rich people would sue them. Kang-ja was disappointed to see her husband so weak. Could it be that Aran was not their biological daughter, so he was not worried? These words were accidentally heard by Aran standing outside. Aran had known for a long time that she was not their biological daughter, so she told her mother not to worry about her. The next day, Kang-ja decided to go find Aran's homeroom teacher to talk. She wanted him to find out who had beaten her daughter at school. The bullies were immediately called to the principal's office to talk. However, they still stubbornly refused to admit to bullying Aran. In addition, Bak Dong challenged the victim to confront him. Aran also heard about her mother going to see the homeroom teacher. Supervisor Jung Woo asked Aran if she wanted to sue the bullies, but Aran said that her mother had just misunderstood. Aran also did not want to make a big deal out of this. The homeroom teacher then made an appointment to meet Kang-ja to report the results. He wanted Aran to transfer to another school. Kang-ja did not understand that her daughter had done nothing wrong and had to transfer schools. The head teacher said that he was afraid that Aran would influence other rich kids. This made Kang-ja furious. If the school could not handle it, she would report it to the police. However, without Aran's testimony, the police could not handle it. Too desperate, Kang-ja went to court to seek help. She happened to attend a school violence trial. Seeing the perpetrator repent before the court's verdict, Kang-ja felt that this was her chance. As soon as the trial ended, she made an appointment to meet the judge privately. Kang-ja had known the judge before, so the two of them made an appointment to have dinner together after work. At the appointed time, Kang-ja went to the restaurant she had reserved and coincidentally saw the two children in court this morning. The perpetrator was still blatantly bullying the victim, which shocked Kang-ja, so she hurriedly went back to see the judge to ask for clarification. But when she arrived, she saw the victim's parents crying bitterly. Their child had left this world when being bullied. Only now did Kang-ja understand that the court could not completely resolve this issue, so she left in disappointment. At the same time, Aran was being chased by Bak Dong. Because she was so scared, she ran into a dead end. When Aran was about to climb the wall, Bak Dong pulled her back. He held a knife and threatened her to transfer schools, or else she need to keep quiet. Bak Dong threatened that if Aran appeared again, the one who would die would be her best friend. Aran was scared and cried in a corner. At this moment Kanja passed by and discovered her daughter. Kanja was shocked to see Aran injured in many places on her body. Aran's mind was severely affected, so Kanja hurriedly took Aran into the house to treat her wound. Looking at Aran's pitiful face, Kanja couldn't hold back her tears. Kanja decided to find out who was behind this herself. Immediately after, Kanja drove to find her daughter's best friend, and coincidentally, teacher Noah saw her again. Kanja angrily grabbed Noah's neck against the wall. When Kanja saw her daughter's best friend, a stranger dragged her away. Suddenly, a mysterious person warned that if Kanja didn't stop, her daughter would pay the price. Kanja was scared and remembered her past. She was once brutally beaten by a thug. Kanja was worried that her daughter would be in danger at home, so she quickly returned home. When Kanja opened the door, her daughter was nowhere to be seen. She was stunned to see Aran hiding under the desk. Aran suffered psychological trauma after the attack. In order to protect her daughter, Kanja went to the bar to find the leader of this area. After hearing that someone had come to cause trouble at the bar, leader Gongju was very angry. Gongju asked who dared to come here to cause trouble. The subordinates were scared and said that the person's name was Kanja. Gongju was shocked after hearing this name. She had heard this name somewhere before. Gongju and her subordinates quickly went out to confirm the identity. Kanja slowly raised her head to look at Gongju. A feeling of oppression enveloped the room. Gongju realized that this was her old best friend, the good friend who always protected and helped her. She remembered that it was Kanja who went to find the perverted teacher to resolve the conflict. Not only that, Kanja also smashed the car of the teacher she hated. At that time, Kanja was a person who was not afraid of anything. The other teachers were helpless before Kanja's attitude. She was also the idol of her classmates at that time. In the morning, Kanja went to school, and in the evening, she helped her mother sell goods. Kanja's boring day passed like that, but whenever her friends were in trouble or beaten, Kanja was always the first to run to their rescue. Gongju still remembers that fateful night. When her team was defeated by the opponent and all hope seemed lost, a knife was thrown at them. Gongju turned around and saw Kanja standing in front of the gate. Kanja rushed forward and kicked the enemy in the face decisively. That demeanor has not changed after many years. Gongju was very happy that her best friend finally returned. Kanja said that she came here because she had a favor to ask. Kanja wanted Gongju to help her get into her daughter's school. Kanja wanted to find the person who turned her daughter into such a pitiful state. Gongju advised Kanja to find another way, but she had already tried everything she could think of. Seeing Kanja's determination, Gongju agreed to help her disguise herself and enroll in school. At the same time, Aran's best friend was captured and locked up by the thug. He said that she knew too much and could not be forgiven. If she wanted to live in peace, she should transfer schools. He immediately released Aran's best friend. Aran's best friend was so scared that she called Aran. However, Aran was no longer conscious. She was too scared after what she had experienced. Aran's condition became more and more serious. The next morning, she hid in the bathroom and cut her own hair. This made Kanja feel heartbroken. To improve her daughter's condition, Kanja transferred her daughter to a psychiatric hospital. After taking her daughter back to the room to rest, Kanja went to Gongju to start her plan. Gongju's subordinates captured the homeroom teacher. He was the only one who knew Kanja's identity. In order for Kanja to be able to easily enroll into the school, Gongju threatened him to keep this a secret or he would have to face death. The next thing the two of them needed to do was go to the beauty salon. After getting her hair done, Kanja turned into a high school girl. She vowed to take revenge on those who bullied her daughter. Today was Kanja's first day at school. She woke up early in the morning to cook for her family. After her husband went to work, she changed into her school uniform. Before she could even enter the classroom, Kanja met an acquaintance. It was teacher Noah, who taught Aran. Today was also the first day teacher Noah was officially appointed. The two of them entered the classroom together and introduced themselves. The students felt that the new teacher seemed boring. When it was Kanja's turn to introduce herself, the students laughed at her name. Supervisor Jungwoo arranged for her to sit at an empty desk. Suddenly, Aran's best friend stood up to protest because this was Aran's desk. Jungwoo gently said that if Aran went back to school, there would be a new set of desks and chairs. Kanja slowly walked down to her seat. She was shocked to see the words written on the table, which were harsh insults towards Aran. Immediately after that, the bullies came to ask her. Kanja asked if they wrote these things. The bullies said that it was just a joke. Kanja angrily grabbed the hair of one of the group. Even though it was the first day of school, Kanja showed her authority. She forced the bullies to kneel on the ground to ask for their crimes. Teacher Noah knew what happened and rushed over, but Kanja had already locked the classroom door. She angrily asked again, "Did they write these things?" The bullies fearfully admitted to this. Kanja got mad and was about to hit them with a stick, but Bok Dong stopped her. He threatened that if Kanja didn't stop, she would be the next to die in his hands. Kanja suddenly remembered the familiar voice from before. He was the one who warned her not to try to chase after Aran's best friend anymore. Kanja was furious and turned around to beat Bok Dong up when Noah walked in, so poor Noah was mercilessly locked by Kanja. She shouted loudly and asked Bok Dong to say it again. Despite Noah's desperate struggle, Kanja only cared about the person standing in front of her. She excitedly punched Bok Dong. Noah saw that the students were fighting, so she rushed in to stop them, but Kanja didn't hold back at all. She directly punched pushed Noah to the side. The frightened students quickly ran to call the supervisor Jungwoo to come and rescue them. Jungwoo sternly brought a stick to the front of the classroom and asked them to stop, but Kanja didn't care and angrily punched Bokdong straight in the face. The fight won't stop when the whole group was taken to the council room. Noah tried her best to beg for these students not to be punished, but Jungwoo wanted to handle this case to the end. He didn't want a student in the school to use such violence. Noah tried to stop everything and told the students to go back to class first. After being released, Kanja pulled the bully away to talk privately. The bully was scared and obediently followed Kanja to the rooftop. She was curious to know who was the leader of this school. The bully said that in terms of strength, Bokdong was the leader, but the real power in this school was the class monitor. Although he was small, he was the son of the chairman, and he alone could really control everything in the school. Many teachers had to quit teaching because of this class monitor, but there was a secret that no one knew. It seemed that the class monitor had once pursued Aran, but failed. Kanja was surprised to know that her daughter was in love. Since then, the class president let the students bully Aran. Not only the class monitor, but Bokdong also didn't care. It was rumored that Bokdong was related to the mafia. After class, Noah went to Jungwoo to ask for forgiveness for the students, but Jungwoo did not want to ignore the school violence. Those who committed the crime must be punished. The school is the place to protect the students. This conversation was accidentally heard by Kanja. She was very impressed with Jungwoo for taking this matter seriously. After that, Kanja secretly followed Bokdong. She wanted to investigate who was protecting him. Just as she was about to arrest Bokdong and question him, an arm blocked her. Noah wanted her to let her friends go. This loud noise attracted Bokdong's attention. He turned around to provoke her and quickly left. Kanja was upset when Bokdong left. She curiously asked what the teacher wanted to do to her. Noah honestly said that he wanted the whole class to get along with each other. However, Kanja did not agree. What she was doing was protecting others. There were things that teachers could not solve. Kanja didn't know that someone had been following her from school. After saying goodbye to Gonju, Kanja discovered that someone was secretly following her, so she quickly rushed to catch the stalker. But surprisingly, that person was her daughter's best friend. Aran's best friend was scared and asked Kanja what her relationship was with Aran. Aran's best friend came all the way here because she was worried about Aran. Kanja then took the best friend to see Aran in the hospital. Aran's best friend cried when she saw Aran's condition. Aran's best friend said that she should have listened to Aran from the beginning. Now Aran's best friend is no longer afraid. It's Aran's best friend's turn to protect Aran. Just as Aran's best friend was about to leave, Aran grabbed her hand. This surprised Aran's best friend. Aran told her not to do anything, otherwise they would be the ones to die. Kanja outside was very anxious to know the truth, but Aran's best friend chose to keep it a secret to protect everyone. The next day, Kanja was late for school again. Because she was not careful, she tripped and fell in front of the school gate. Noah was injured while trying to catch her. The two of them then went to the medical room for first aid. Kanja was curious why the teacher cared so much about her. It turned out that Noah had recognized Kanja as the one who had scolded him before. Noah said that from now on, he would protect her, so she should not fight on her own anymore. Kanja was frustrated and told him not to follow her anymore. Then, Kanja went into the classroom. Her eyes were always fixed on Bokdong. The subordinates informed Kanja that she was currently on the supervisor's blacklist. Jungwoo was trying to find a way to expel her. At this moment, the class monitor stepped out. As the chairman's son, he asked Jungwoo to forgive Kanja. Jungwoo was not the type of person to be stubborn. Because of the chairman, Jungwoo agreed. At the same time, Kanja was following Bokdong. Even when he went to the bathroom, she followed him. Bokdong was annoyed and threatened her not to follow him anymore. Otherwise, even if she was a girl, he would beat her. Kanja coldly asked why he beat Aran. Bokdong was angry that someone knew this secret, so he rushed forward to fight Kanja, but the class monitor came in. The class monitor shouted loudly for the two to stop. Kanja was annoyed when she saw him appear. Dare to pursue Aran without protecting Aran. She would deal with the matter with the class monitor next time. Kanja continued to follow Bokdong, not letting him escape. At this moment, Noah walked in. Kanja was annoyed that he kept interfering in her business like that. Noah begged her not to cause trouble anymore, but Kanja's purpose in going to school was to avenge her daughter, so she didn't have time to care about anything else. Meanwhile, Aran's best friend accidentally discovered Jungwoo doing something shady in the library. He made an appointment to meet another woman in a secret room. This place is a repository for corrupt documents of officials. If just one file is leaked, many people will be affected. The woman in front of him is the president's personal secretary. Jungwoo used a sweet voice to seduce her. Suddenly, Jungwoo saw the wound on the secretary's body. He guessed that the culprit was the president. As soon as the two left the dark room, Jungwoo was surprised to see Aran's best friend outside. She curiously asked what that room was, but Jungwoo warned her not to know too much. It turned out that there was an illicit relationship between the two. She said that Aran already knew about the two of them, so if Jungwoo touched Aran, she would tell everything. Jungwoo angrily made an appointment to meet the boss. He wanted the boss to deal with Aran's best friend. He wanted that girl to disappear forever. That night after school, Kanja continued to follow Bokdong to a bar. She quickly changed her clothes and broke into the bar. It turned out that Bokdong came here to meet the boss. The boss wanted Bok Dong to kill Aran's best friend on his behalf. Bok Dong was scared when the boss talked about murder. The boss explained that because Bok Dong was underage, he wouldn't be arrested for long. Kanja outside saw everything. She was scared when she recognized that familiar face. The boss was the one who beat her up when she was young. The boss's younger brother unfortunately died trying to stop him. At this moment, the boss looked towards the door. Kanja instinctively ducked and hid behind. At this moment, Noah happened to pass by. He was angry that a student dared to come to a place like this. Kanja was so scared that she couldn't stand. Noah screamed loudly when he saw Kanja collapse to the ground. The strange noise caught Bok Dong's attention. He quickly ran out and found his teacher. The boss also slowly walked out. The familiar voice made Kanja feel scared. He asked Bok Dong knew this person. Bok Dong said that this was the homeroom teacher and a classmate. The boss was curious when he saw the teacher having fun with the students. Luckily, the boss didn't care much, so he went back to the bar to continue drinking. Kanja had just escaped a disaster, so she ran out. Noah chased after her and gave her a lesson, making Kanja frustrated. Meanwhile, the boss was ordering Bok Dong to deal with Aran's best friend. Bok Dong was scared and said that Aran's best friend was very timid. Just scaring her a little would be enough, but the boss didn't agree. They just needed to follow the orders of their superiors. He also carefully devised a way to turn the murder case into a voluntarily leaving the world case. It is not uncommon for students to think foolishly because of pressure. The boss loudly asked Bok Dong if he dared to do it. Bok Dong hesitated and did not dare to answer this question. He continued to coax Bok Dong into carrying out the plan. As long as Bok Dong was willing to stay in prison for 2 years, Bok Dong's life would develop continuously. Kanja returned and immediately went to find Gongju to talk. The boss was the one who ordered people to beat Kanja's daughter. Gongju was surprised to hear this cruel fate. Gongju asked Kanja if he knew Aran was her daughter. Kanja said that this was not to be revealed. Gongju remembered what happened at the warehouse before. The boss had brutally beaten Kanja because she dared to get close to his younger brother. Kanja was injured but still protected the younger brother. The only person who made his younger brother hurt was him. The boss went crazy and wanted to kill Kanja. Gongju was so scared that she called his younger brother. Then came a series of tragedies when the boss's younger brother was accidentally stabbed to death. The hatred just kept growing. Kanja kept following Bok Dong. Suddenly, her best friend Aran approached Kanja to talk. This conversation was accidentally seen by Jungwoo. Kanja asked if Bok Dong was threatening her. Aran's best friend was surprised when Kanja knew about this. Kanja asked why he was looking for trouble with Aran. Aran's best friend was about to tell Kanja the truth when Jungwoo came over. Aran's best friend was scared and ran away. Only Kanja and Jungwoo were left. He asked what the two had just talked about. Kanja said that Aran's best friend wanted Aran to return to school, but Aran's health did not allow it. At the same time, Bok Dong blocked Aran's best friend's way. He angrily asked her what she was doing. He had warned her not to stay here. Aran's best friend confidently reported this to the Ministry of Education. Bok Dong was upset and said that if she did that, she would die. Bok Dong advised her to move away and not stay here anymore, or else she would meet a bad ending. To prevent his friend from having any unexpected events, Bok Dong followed Aran's best friend. However, Kanja interrupted. Bok Dong angrily chased after her to end this. Kanja invited Bok Dong to her restaurant for a meal. Bok Dong was upset that he had to go to such a shabby restaurant. He was scared when he saw Kanja running out with a knife. Kanja cooked him a home-cooked meal, but Bok Dong didn't want to eat. He curiously asked why she knew the boss. Kanja held back her anger and asked why Bok Dong worked under that evil man. Bok Dong said that he was just a homeless person. Kanja took the bowl and chopsticks and told him to eat first. It had been a long time since Bok Dong felt the warmth of love. He sat down to eat a delicious meal. After finishing eating, Kanja started to talk seriously to him that the boss was just taking advantage of him. Bok Dong was upset and was about to leave when Kanja spoke up. She asked if he could apologize to Aran. Bok Dong obediently listened to her. The class monitor's family atmosphere was not much better. The chairman was a dictator who always used violence against others. Just because of his wife's divorce request letter, he angrily threw the ashtray at the secretary. The secretary painfully held her head and walked out, bleeding. Her whole body was covered in wounds from the chairman's beatings. The secretary remembered Jungwoo's offer. As long as the secretary handed over the chairman's weakness, Jungwoo would protect the secretary from the evil chairman. Today was also the day the chairman flew abroad. This was the perfect time for the secretary to contact Jungwoo. She was determined to expose the chairman's true nature. That night, the two of them made an appointment at a luxurious party, a place where many leaders of the Ministry of Education were gathered. Even the boss was invited. Jungwoo approached the secretary to talk. He repeated his previous offer. As long as she provided fatal evidence of the chairman, he would help her make the chairman pay. To increase the success rate of the plan, Jungwoo seduced the secretary into falling in love. While the two were kissing passionately, the boss appeared out of nowhere. He said someone was looking for Jungwoo. As soon as Jungwoo left, the boss pulled the secretary aside and asked her if she was crazy. If the chairman found out, everyone would be dead. But the secretary already had her own plan. The supervisor asked the boss how far he had gone in dealing with Aran's best friend, but Bok Dong had already lost track of Aran's best friend. If the best friend's information was leaked, everyone would be dead. To eliminate this disaster, the boss ordered Bok Dong to follow Aran's best friend. At the same time, Ran's best friend was returning to Jungwoo's secret storage room, but when the door opened, Jungwoo was already waiting for her to appear. He hurriedly chased after her, holding a camera. Ran's best friend was scared and forced onto the rooftop. When Bok Dong arrived, it was too late. He was scared and looked at his friend's body lying in the schoolyard. The case had thrown the whole school into chaos. Kam Ja was shocked to see that Ran's best friend was dead. In the suicide note, Ran's best friend also wrote Bok Dong's name, so he became the #1 suspect in the case. The police immediately took Bok Dong to the headquarters for investigation. Ran's best friend's funeral was also held. The mother was angry when she saw Jungwoo's appearance. Why couldn't they protect her daughter? Kam Ja, who was outside, had seen everything. She goes to talk to Jungwoo that Bok Dong is not the culprit. At this time, the police also came to report the results of the examination. According to the results, the victim was 3 weeks pregnant. When Jungwoo heard this news, he started to get scared. He tried to stop the police from talking to the victim's parents. Ran, after hearing the news, rushed to the funeral home. The girl shouted loudly, "Is Jungwoo the one who killed her friend?" Everyone was attracted by the noise outside. Ran went crazy and pulled Jungwoo's hand. The girl screamed that Jungwoo was the real culprit. Kam Ja quickly ran over and hugged her. Ran was surprised to see her mother in a school uniform. Kam Ja told Ran to calm down. There were many people looking at Ran. They all thought she was crazy. Jungwoo was pleased that he had escaped suspicion. The only evidence of the accusation was the tape on the victim's phone that he had confiscated. To forget everything, he deleted the tape and threw away the phone. All the crimes were now blamed on Bok Dong. The fact that the female student was 3 months pregnant was also announced. Ran was heartbroken when her best friend died. Bok Dong's sentence was only community service. This verdict caused a strong public outcry. They thought the sentence was too light for this crime. The next day, Jungwoo went to the hospital to visit Ran. As soon as he saw the murderer's face, Ran shouted loudly, "Did you kill my friend?" Suddenly, she remembered what Bok Dong had warned her, that if she wanted her mother to be safe, she should keep her mouth shut. Ran started to pretend to be crazy to fool Jungwoo. Ran's condition gave the doctors a headache. Kam Ja helped her daughter back to the hospital room. When there were only 2 people left, Ran asked Kam Ja what she was doing. Kam Ja was surprised that Ran had returned to normal, but that was not important now. Ran asked why Kam Ja pretended to be a student. Kam Ja comforts Ran that the culprit has been caught and everything is over. Just then Jungwoo walked in. He carefully observed Ran before leaving. After a long period of treatment, Ran was finally discharged from the hospital. The whole family took this opportunity to celebrate. During this time, the father was also promoted. Kam Ja had no idea that her husband was working for the boss. Kam Ja's husband's promotion was Jungwoo's plan. Kam Ja insisted that Ran transfer schools, but she didn't want to leave. Now Ran had become Jungwoo's target. Kam Ja couldn't understand why she still wanted to study at that school. Today was Ran's first day back to school. She didn't expect to go to school with her mother one day. The friends around kept gossiping, thinking that Ran was crazy. Suddenly, the class monitor stood at the gate to block Ran. Ran pretended not to remember the class monitor's name. Before they could even enter the classroom, they met Jungwoo. Ran tried to stay calm, so he wouldn't suspect anything. Things didn't stop there. When Ran opened the cabinet, there were the words of the bullies. They dared to mention her dead best friend, making Ran unable to keep calm. Kam Ja angrily grabbed the class monitor by the neck and dragged him out. The curious crowd immediately ran to watch the fight. Kam Ja angrily beat the class monitor until he had no strength to fight back. Ran was surprised when she witnessed her mother's strength for the first time. Kam Ja easily beat the class monitor without mercy. Seeing that the class monitor was still stubborn and refused to apologize, Kam Ja was about to finish him off when Noah walked in. Noah was disappointed when he saw Kam Ja using violence. Not only Noah, but even Ran didn't like her mother becoming a thug. While the mother and daughter were arguing, suddenly, a familiar voice rang out. Ran was startled when she saw her father coming to school. No one in the family knew that Kam Ja disguised herself as a female student, so she quickly found a place to hide before being discovered. Luckily, her husband only came to say hello to his daughter for a bit and then went to work immediately. Kam Ja was surprised to see her husband with the boss. They are now contractors building a new classroom. Kam Ja was stunned to know that he had started to pay attention to her family, so she needed to prepare a plan to deal with it. Ran was surprised when her mother climbed over the fence to skip school. Was this the strict mother she knew? Kam Ja went to see Gongju. Unexpectedly, Noah also came here to meet her parents. The two panicked and tried to pretend to be mother and daughter. Noah looked fearfully at the subordinates around. Finally, he understood why Kam Ja behaved so rudely, as if her pain had been touched. Gongju burst into tears. Seeing Gongju's eyes filled with tears, the subordinates called someone to question the teacher. Noah sat obediently in a corner, scared. Kam Ja quickly relieved the situation by sending the teacher out. Seeing Noah trying so hard for the students, Kam Ja was a little touched by him. Meanwhile, the secretary handed over the chairman's secret documents, but that was not enough to satisfy Jungwoo. He asked the secretary to bring the documents in the safe there as decisive evidence. The secretary obediently did as he said. That night, while the chairman had not returned yet, the secretary tried to unlock the secret safe. The stone lion immediately rose to reveal the secret files. It included a list of corrupt people. At this moment, the chairman returned home, so the secretary panicked and returned the documents to their original place. When the stone lion had just lowered, the boss appeared. The secretary was scared, thinking that she had been discovered, but luckily the boss came to warn the chairman was coming. The secretary hurriedly hid the documents she had just copied. As soon as the chairman entered, everything was basically done, except for a piece of paper that was exposed. The boss quickly kicked it down on the chair before the chairman discovered it. The next day, Aran was called by Jungwoo for a private talk. He took her to the secret door in the library. Then he gently asked Aran if she remembered anything else. Aran tried to stay calm and not reveal any flaws. After confirming that Aran did not know where the secret room was, Jungwoo happily left. He did not know that Aran had discovered her best friend's teddy bear, and Ran was sure that her friend had come here before the accident. That night, Aran decided to return to the library to look for evidence. Aran was groping in the dark when suddenly there was a strange noise. Aran was surprised to see Jungwoo with the secretary. Because she was so scared, she accidentally dropped a book. This caught the secretary's attention. Just as the secretary went to Aran's hiding place, suddenly a familiar face made her scared. It was none other than Kang Ja. Jungwoo saw that the secretary had not returned yet, so he went to check. As soon as he arrived, Noah also appeared. Noah asked what the two were doing here. At this moment, Noah shined her flashlight and saw Kang Ja and Aran were also here. Looking at Aran's expression, Noah understood and did not say anything. The secretary also did not reveal that Kang Ja was here. Aran hurriedly pulled her mother out of the school. Kang Ja seriously asked if Aran was hiding something from her. Before Aran could explain, Noah walked over. He asked why the two were in the library at this time. Aran said she was reading a book and fell asleep. Aran asked the teacher not to reveal this to Jungwoo. On the way home, Kang Ja tried to ask Aran what she was doing. Aran wanted to protect her mother, so she did not tell the truth. But when Aran saw Kang Ja's determination, she decided to open up to her mother. Kang Ja said that she would find out everything herself. Meanwhile, the secretary had handed over all the confidential documents to Jungwoo. He used seductive words to deceive the secretary. However, the secretary still wondered why Kang Ja was also there. It turned out that the two of them were former classmates. Kang Ja wanted to meet the secretary to talk. The next day, mother and daughter went to school together. By chance, they came across Bok Dong, who had been released. A group of curious students gathered to watch the impending battle. Aran angrily asked if Bok Dong had killed her best friend. Bok Dong arrogantly admitted it. Just as Kang Ja was about to rush forward, the class monitor appeared. The class monitor wanted to show off, so he provoked Bok Dong. This accidentally reached his limit. Bok Dong clenched his fist and beat the class monitor. Maybe he had been patient with the class monitor before, but after going to jail, Bok Dong could no longer hold back. Bok Dong rushed to fight the class monitor. In a flash, the place became a melee. Kang Ja also rushed to beat the class monitor and Bok Dong. After Noah knew what happened, he ran to stop the students. Quickly, the three leaders were taken to the teacher's office. Jungwoo hypocritically said to do an internal investigation. He ordered Bok Dong to just keep an eye on Aran and leave everything else to him. No, I wanted to invite Kang Ja's parents to work. However, Kang Ja told Gongju that there was no need to come. At this moment, the secretary entered. The two old friends had a chance to reunite after a long time. Kang Ja told the secretary about her daughter being bullied at school, so she disguised herself as a student. The secretary said that it was impossible. Gongju sat next to her, feeling uncomfortable at this. Gongju asked the secretary if she was going to betray them like before. It turned out that the secretary had told the boss everything. She was also the one who accused Kang Ja in court, but Kang Ja spoke up to defend the secretary. If it weren't for the secretary's help yesterday, she would have been exposed. The secretary was upset when she saw that. Kang Ja tried to chase after the secretary to convince her to help. The secretary was moved to tears by Kang Ja's sincere attitude. She turned to alcohol to forget the past. At this moment, the boss walked in. The boss didn't want the secretary to continue cooperating with Jungwoo because he would be eliminated by the chairman soon. When Kang Ja returned home, she unexpectedly saw Noah in the room, so she quickly pulled him out before they was discovered. Before they had gone far, Kang Ja's mother-in-law saw them. Kang Ja quickly pulled Noah far away from her house. She made up a story that Aran's parents were mentally ill, so they didn't see outsiders. Aran stood outside the door, waiting for her mother to return. She didn't want her mother to continue pretending to be a student. As soon as Kang Ja entered the house, Kang Ja's mother-in-law was waiting to ask who that man was. Aran explained that it was the homeroom teacher, so Kang Ja temporarily escaped her mother-in-law's suspicion. The next day, Aran continued to go to the library to find the secret entrance. Suddenly, Bok Dong appeared to stop her. He told Aran to forget everything. Aran was disappointed when she thought he was her friend, but Bok Dong did that to protect her. Bok Dong revealed that Aran's friend did not leave this world by herself. It was because Aran was too curious that her best friend died unjustly. Aran angrily slapped Bok Dong and left. Meanwhile, the subordinate once again brought the secretary to see Kang Ja. She revealed the truth about Jungwoo to the secretary. He had previously raped Aran's best friend, so he killed her to silence her. The secretary did not believe what Kang Ja said because everyone in the group supported Jungwoo. The secretary brought her suspicions to him, but she still chose to believe him. She did not know that the chairman had discovered the safe had been broken into. The next day, Noah invited the student's guardian. While they were discussing with the school, Kang Ja asked Bok Dong directly if he was the real culprit of the case. Bok Dong sadly said no. At this moment the boss came in. He angrily kicked Bok Dong in the leg for causing trouble. Kang-ja hid under the table and saw everything. In order to find evidence of Jung-woo's crime, Kang-ja asked Gong-ju for help. They monitored Jung-woo's every move. He was surprised when Kang-ja came to his house at this hour. Gong-ju's men were waiting in the basement. Kang-ja deliberately seduced Jung-woo. He thought that Kang-ja liked him, so he became interested. To seduce this evil man, Kang-ja deliberately spilled coffee on herself. At this moment, Gong-ju intentionally caused an accident with his car below. Jung-woo angrily went down to see who was so reckless. Taking this opportunity, Kang-ja searched the room to find evidence. She suddenly discovered a suspicious package. Kang-ja carefully opened it to read. She was extremely shocked to see that the thing inside was a pregnancy test. It turned out that the pregnancy in Aran's best friend Belly was caused by him. At this moment, Jung-woo returned to the room. Kang-ja was scared when she heard the door open. Just as Jung-woo was about to enter, Noah suddenly appeared. Noah said that he forgot to give Jung-woo the documents. Taking this opportunity, Kang-ja immediately ran out. Noah was surprised to see his student here. He glared at Jung-woo angrily and chased after Kang-ja. Seeing Kang-ja's unstable mentality made him worried. Kang-ja hurriedly returned home to confirm with Aran. Aran was surprised when her mother found out that her best friend was pregnant. This could be the reason why Aran's best friend died. Aran recounted that her best friend was an isolated child. At that time, Jung-woo had deceived her, but when he got tired of playing, he started to pick a fight with her. Bok Dong followed his orders to constantly bother her with his purpose of forcing her to transfer schools. Aran hoped that Kang-ja would keep this a secret. Aran was afraid that Jung-woo would put Kang-ja in danger. At the same time, Jung-woo opened the package to check. He was shocked to see a pregnancy test and a threatening letter inside. Kang-ja then went to meet the victim's parents. She revealed that the pregnancy was Jung-woo's. The mother was heartbroken when she heard this news, but her daughter had already passed away, so she didn't want her daughter to suffer again. As a mother, Kang-ja understood what the mother was worried about, so she would investigate this case herself. The next day at school, Jung-woo asked Aran to meet him privately. He implied that he already knew everything. Jung-woo guessed that Aran also knew about the pregnancy. He threatened her to know her place. Today was also the day the chairman visited the school. He was angry when his son was beaten by someone else, but when he found out that the person who beat his son was a girl, he brutally vented his anger on the school's leadership. Kang-ja was upset when the chairman acted arrogantly. Immediately after that, the chairman gave an hour-long speech. He forced all the students to stand in the sun to listen to the lecture. Many students couldn't bear it and fainted. After finishing the public torture, he went into the secret storage room. The chairman hesitated whether to cooperate with Jung-woo or not. The class president thought that he was the chairman's son, so he was very arrogant. At lunchtime, when the students were waiting in line, he brazenly cut in front of Kang-ja to cause trouble. When he was asked to line up, he angrily threw down the lunch tray. Kang-ja was furious and wanted to attack him, but the class president's flatterers surrounded him. They threatened to report Kang-ja for expulsion. The mother and daughter patiently left before anything happened. Not only at school, but even Aran's father was being made difficult. They appointed him just to be a scapegoat. If anything happened, Aran's father would be responsible. Jung-woo ordered the boss to keep a close eye on Aran. If necessary, kill her. The boss hated it when everything was to him due. At the same time, Kang-ja was trying to break into Jung-woo's house. With the help of Gongju's subordinates, they were able to disable the camera and break the lock. Kang-ja quickly checked every corner of the house. Time passed, making Gongju feel worried. Suddenly, Jung-woo and the secretary returned. Gongju hurriedly informed Kang-ja. She tried to search the trash can before retreating. The subordinates outside had not seen Kang-ja escape, so they came to help. They tried to prevent Jung-woo from entering the house. Only the secretary went in first. She was surprised to see Kang-ja here. Kang-ja signaled the secretary to keep quiet. At this moment, Jung-woo entered. However, the secretary kept a secret about the discovery of Kang-ja. The secretary also helped her escape safely. As soon as Jung-woo went to take a shower, the secretary chased after Kang-ja and asked what she was doing. Kang-ja said that Jung-woo was a cruel person, but the secretary still blindly did not believe her words. Feeling that she could not change her secretary's mind, Kang-ja said goodbye to her friend and returned. While she was feeling depressed because she could not find any evidence, Gongju and his subordinates suddenly brought her good news. After digging through the trash of the entire building, they found the discarded package. Kang-ja emotionally hugged her best friend. Because she was so engrossed in her investigation, Kang-ja had neglected to take care of her family. This made her mother-in-law suspicious. Seeing Kang-ja's urgent appearance, her mother-in-law suspected that she was having an affair. During the struggle, her mother-in-law accidentally saw the pregnancy test. Kang-ja hurriedly picked up her things and went to the police station. She brought the evidence to report Jung-woo. The police immediately came to the school to escort him to the police station for investigation. This surprised the students and teachers in the school. The fetus in Aran's best friend belly was confirmed to be Jung-woo's. This news was reported to the Minister of Education. He angrily asked to keep this a secret and brought Jung-woo to see him. The minister was furious when Jung-woo kept causing trouble. He regretted not dealing with Jung-woo thoroughly. Kang-ja was happy to have sent Jung-woo to jail. She did not know that her mother-in-law had followed her to school. Her mother-in-law was angry that her had pretended to be a student. The news that Kang-ja was forced to return home by her mother spread throughout the class. Kanja made an excuse that she was helping her daughter with psychological treatment, so she came here. But her mother-in-law did not care about that. Her mother-in-law threatened to tell everyone about this. Kanja begged her mother-in-law to give her more time. She promised to go through the procedures to drop out of school right away. Her mother-in-law accepted Kanja's conditions, so she quickly returned to school and found out that Jungwoo had been released. It turned out that he was the minister's illegitimate son, so Jungwoo threatened the minister to do as he wished. If the minister did not do as Jungwoo was told, his political career would be ruined. Kanja angrily rushed to the police station to ask for clarification. However, when she checked the security camera, the evidence had been deleted when Kanja submitted it. She sadly returned to school. Jungwoo had already gone into the classroom to find out where Aran was, but because the seat was empty, he returned to the library. Kanja was worried that her child would be in danger, so she returned to look for her daughter. Jungwoo had already caught Aran. He suspected that Aran was the one who had reported him. Jungwoo laughed loudly and threatened to deal with Aran, but he still gave Aran one last chance. If she kept quiet, everything would be fine. He did not expect that Noah had heard the whole thing. Noah angrily walked up to Jungwoo and asked him why he said that to the students. Jungwoo said that he was just teaching the kids. At this time, Kanja found her daughter. She quickly hugged Aran. Things were getting out of control. Aran wanted to protect her mother, so she agreed to end this. Kanja guessed that Jungwoo had threatened her daughter. He was doing very well in his career now. With the support of the powerful chairman, Jungwoo's power in the school was not small. But Jungwoo did not know that he was just a person being taken advantage of. The minister asked the chairman when the new building would be completed. The chairman could eliminate Jungwoo at any time. Kanja knew that if she wanted to completely eliminate Jungwoo, she would have to monitor the chairman's house. Gongju ordered her subordinates to disguise themselves as employees and infiltrate the chairman's house. They installed hidden cameras around the house. Because she was so engrossed in investigating, Kanja forgot about other important things. Kanja's mother-in-law kept asking her if she had submitted her leave application. On top of that, her mother-in-law wanted to go to school and cause trouble. At this moment, Kanja's weak-willed husband returned. Kanja quickly covered her mother-in-law's mouth so that the secret wouldn't be revealed. To keep this a secret, Kanja treated her mother-in-law to a sumptuous meal. Thanks to that, she was able to continue to disguise herself as a student. The next day, Kanja was still able to go to school. Aran was surprised that her mother didn't listen to her, but Kanja did this to ensure Aran's safety. At this time, rumors spread throughout the school that Kanja was adopted. The students sympathized with her situation. In order to improve the quality of education, the school issued a new rule that excellent students would be paired together, while average students would have to sit at the back. As if it was a deliberate arrangement, the class monitor was pleased to sit next to his goddess, Aran. The last two seats in the class would be reserved for Bok Dong and Kanja. This arrangement made many students dissatisfied, not only the seating but also the structure of the exam. They were seniors. The class monitor pointed out the students who sat at the back causing trouble. This made Kanja feel uncomfortable. At the same time, Kanja's weak husband was working for Jungwoo. He used Kanja's husband to probe Aran's situation. Since Kanja's husband was at his daughter's school, he went to her class to visit her. Kanja was scared when her husband suddenly appeared. She quickly crawled on the ground to avoid her husband's detection. Luckily, Aran pulled the nosy father out before the secret was revealed. The next classes went smoothly. Kanja was proud that her daughter was shining so brightly. Seeing her daughter studying hard made her a little happy. Suddenly, Aran covered her face and ran out, making Kanja worried. So Kanja hurriedly chased after her and found her daughter had a nosebleed. Kanja wanted Aran to go home and rest, but she refused. Tomorrow they would have their final exams, so Aran couldn't lose focus. After saying that, Aran returned to class first. Kanja followed behind and accidentally saw the subordinates acting strangely. She curiously followed to check and discovered the class monitor's lair. He was holding a pile of tomorrow's test papers in his hand. As the chairman's son, he had the privilege of knowing the test papers in advance. At this moment, Kanja walked in and coldly asked them what they were holding. The students were scared and hid the test papers behind their backs. Kanja angrily grabbed a test paper to check. She didn't expect these students to be so despicable. The class monitor arrogantly told his subordinates to take it back. If anyone else found out, things would get messy. Kanja tried to keep the evidence but was pushed down by one of them. She was painfully pressed under the heavy pile of things. Kanja angrily took the remaining piece of paper and went to see Noah. Noah was worried when he saw his student injured. Kanja said that tomorrow's exam had been leaked. Noah was shocked to see the remaining piece of paper in her hand. Noah asked who knew about this. Kanja confessed that the class monitor was the mastermind. Noah promised to investigate this matter thoroughly. Kanja returned to find her daughter still studying for the exam. She told her daughter to rest. Kanja confidently announced that there would be no exam tomorrow because the exam had been leaked. Aran knew that the class monitor was definitely involved in this, but with the goal of achieving first place, Aran was still determined to study all night. As expected, the next day the school still held the exam as usual. Kanja asked the teacher in a daze why the exam was not postponed. When the exam was revealed, she angrily ran to the principal's office to question him. He said that this piece of paper could not be used as evidence. This was just last year's exam. Kang-ja was helpless before the principal's cover-up. She asked to call the class monitor's people to verify, but they deliberately covered it up and blamed Kang-ja. She hated seeing these children lying. The final exam results were out. Aran stood looking at the scoreboard in disappointment. Even though she had studied hard, her results were not first place. All her efforts in reviewing were ultimately lost to the cheaters. This result made Noah very angry. How could a teacher do such a thing? Noah met privately with the principal to question him. He was the one who had accepted the bribe and given the exam to the class monitor, but the principal said that Noah's father had also asked for Noah to teach at the school. Noah was stunned when he learned the truth. Kang-ja could not sit still and witness such injustice, so she wrote a letter of accusation to the Minister of Education. He was surprised to read the letter that Kang-ja sent. He asked if all of this was true. Kang-ja confirmed that it was all true. She wanted his help so that this would not continue. The minister angrily took the letter of accusation to see the chairman. He ordered the chairman to handle this matter neatly, whether it was killing someone or doing anything else. This meeting was recorded by a hidden camera. Kang-ja was furious when she saw that these two were on the same side. As soon as the minister left, Jung-woo and the secretary went to the chairman's house. The chairman threw the letter in front of Jung-woo and asked him to find the accuser within 3 days. Jung-woo obediently bowed his head and accepted the order. Kang-ja wanted to see the secretary to clarify everything, but Gong-ju stopped her. It was the secretary who betrayed them before. If Kang-ja deliberately went there, the fact that she was the one who sent the denunciation letter would be exposed. Outside, the story is not over. When Kang-ja returns home, she is also scolded by her mother-in-law. Because Kang-ja did not take good care of her mother-in-law, Kang-ja's mother-in-law deliberately revealed that she was going to school. At this moment, Kang-ja's husband came over and asked her what she was studying. Kang-ja turned around and said that she was studying housekeeping. The mother-in-law looked at Kang-ja, bewildered, and shamelessly lied. Not only did Kang-ja's family have problems, but Noah's side also asked his father why he did that to him. The judge was surprised when Noah knew about the bribe to he become a teacher. This hurt Noah's self-esteem. The next day, Kang-ja and Aran continued to go to school. Jung-woo blocked the road early in the morning, making it difficult for the two of them. He appeared to be friendly and asked Aran. Seeing the fake guy in front of her made Kang-ja uncomfortable. Aran did not want her mother to be in danger, so she told her mother not to do anything. At this moment, Bok-dong called Kang-ja out to talk privately. He wanted her to tie his shoelaces like last time. Kang-ja didn't understand what he was going to do, but did it anyway. She gently advised him to tell the bad things Jung-woo had ordered. Suddenly, Bok-dong asked if Kang-ja liked him. Kang-ja was stunned when Bok-dong misunderstood. At that moment, a familiar voice was heard. Kang-ja quickly pulled Bok-dong to hide in a corner. It turned out that Kang-ja's husband was surveying the construction site of a building. Unfortunately, when Kang-ja was pretending to be a student, her husband discovered. Seeing the two of them struggling with each other, Bok-dong misunderstood that her husband had bad intentions towards Kang-ja. The misunderstanding became more and more serious. Before they could explain, the boss arrived. Kang-ja's husband quickly ran out to follow the boss away, so Kang-ja was temporarily at peace. But when Kang-ja entered the classroom, she discovered that Noah was acting strangely. Kang-ja pulled him into the infirmary to take care of him. Seeing Kang-ja caring for him like that made Noah miss his father even more. Tears began to fall down his cheeks. Kang-ja gently comforted her teacher. That night, Kang-ja went to talk to Gong-ju. She asked someone to investigate the construction project at the school. Kang-ja was afraid that there was a problem with this project. At this time, the secretary came to see the two people. Kang-ja wanted to ask why the secretary followed Jung-woo. Suddenly, the secretary took off her shirt. Kang-ja was shocked to see the secretary covered in wounds. This was the result of serving the chairman. Kang-ja wanted the secretary to cooperate with her. With just the secretary's testimony, Kang-ja would catch those bastards. But the secretary advised Kang-ja to leave the school or they would harm her. As the secretary predicted, the complaint letter was delivered to the boss. Jung-woo ordered to find and kill the accuser. The boss remembered what happened on the rooftop. It was Jung-woo who pushed Aram's best friend down. Now he wanted to kill someone too. Jung-woo didn't know that Aram's best friend phone had been picked up by the boss. The next day, Kang-ja changed into her uniform and went to school. Despite her husband and mother-in-law's objections, Kang-ja was determined to investigate the case. Kang-ja's mother-in-law angrily told her to pack her and her daughter's bags and leave. Kang-ja tried to control her anger. This house was built with the money of the couple, so if anyone had to leave, it would be her mother-in-law. Kang-ja was so disgusted with this weak husband. She immediately left for school with her daughter. Kang-ja's mother-in-law was so angry that she went to school to denounce Kang-ja. The teachers were very worried when someone came to cause trouble. Kang-ja's mother-in-law demanded that they expel Kang-ja immediately. However, Kang-ja used a fake name, so the teachers couldn't find her. Kang-ja called her husband outside the teacher's room for help, but he still didn't come. So Aran ran into the teacher's room to distract everyone. Aran explained that her grandmother was confused, so grandma always imagined a daughter named Kang-ja. At that moment, Kang-ja's husband ran in and pulled his mother back. Because she was afraid that her son would be fired, she was forced to play the role of an absent-minded old woman. That night, the boss found Gong-ju's lair. The boss ordered the subordinate to beat him up to ask why his name appeared in the complaint. No matter how brutally he was beaten, beaten, the subordinates still didn't reveal Kanja. The boss angrily left and promised to come back next time. Meanwhile, Kanja's weak husband gave Kanja a divorce paper. If she didn't quit school, the two would end things. Kanja angrily tore up the divorce paper. At that moment, a phone call came in. Gongju reported that her subordinates had been exposed. Kanja rushed to the school to find the complaint. Before Kanja could find the evidence, Jungwoo returned. He was ordering the boss to silence Aran forever. At the same time, Aran became suspicious when the boss appeared here. He said that he was Aran's father's boss. Feeling threatened, Aran hurriedly ran away, but was caught by the boss. He wanted to take Aran's phone to call Kanja. As soon as Kanja left, a sudden message was sent. Kanja looked at the message that the boss sent in fear. She rushed to the meeting place to save her daughter. Aran was now locked up in an abandoned building by him. The meeting time had come, and the boss was extremely shocked when the person who appeared in front of him was Kanja. She calmly walked past the boss and went to her daughter. Kanja hugged her daughter and comforted. The boss was bewildered and asked why Kanja appeared here. Kanja confidently said that she was the mother of this child. The boss asked Aran if she was really her child. Kanja told him to stop thinking nonsense. She thought she could change him a little bit before, but now she saw him becoming more and more evil. If your younger brother was still alive, he would be heartbroken. The boss went crazy when she mentioned his younger brother. He angrily rushed to attack Kanja. Kanja pulled out a knife from her body and pointed it at him, but the boss with his strength snatched the knife. Just as he was about to stab, Noah appeared to intervene. It turned out that Bakdong had told him the place where the boss often went. The boss went crazy and beat Noah. Kanja shouted loudly and rushed to lock the boss's arms, but with her strength, Kanja could not withstand it. Realizing the dangerous situation, Noah quickly ran to stop the boss. He angrily stabbed Noah without hesitation. Kanja was scared and ran to hug Noah, who was lying on the floor. Only then did the boss calm down. The painful memories of his younger brother came flooding back. The boss tried to calm himself down. Just one stab, Noah wouldn't die. He quickly left the crime scene. Gongju also ran over at this time. They quickly took Noah home for first aid. Luckily, the wound wasn't deep. After being stitched up, Noah's condition gradually stabilized. Aran, after this shock, no longer trusted her mother. She asked Gongju if her mother had killed someone in the past. Gongju quickly explained that it was just a misunderstanding. The words Kanja said to the boss made Aran suspect that the boss was her biological father. Noah finally woke up. The first thing Noah did was ask about the student's condition. Kanja was touched that he was always worried about her. To her, Noah was a good teacher. After feeling better, Noah was able to stand up and go home. Gongju returned after taking Aran home. Kanja wanted her friend to help her investigate the chairman. Now that her identity had been discovered by the boss, going to school every day would be more dangerous than ever, but she still had no intention of giving up. The next day, Kanja continued to go to school with her daughter. However, Aran no longer wanted to talk to Kanja. Suddenly, Kanja's husband blocked her way and dragged Kanja away. She said dejectedly that she had something to do, so he shouldn't interfere. Unfortunately, this scene was seen by Bakdong. He angrily rushed forward and grabbed Kanja's husband by the neck against the wall. Bakdong threatened him never to come near Kanja again. Bakdong beat Kanja's husband as a warning. Then, he ran to find Kanja and saw her treating Noah's wound. Bakdong felt jealous, so he pulled her out. He warned her that this world is very scary. After arriving at the construction site, the boss called Kanja's husband. The boss was annoyed and asked if Aran was their biological child. Kanja's husband was surprised when he received a personal question, but he still admitted that Aran was adopted. Kanja was the one who brought her home. The boss said to let his daughter and wife go abroad, but Kanja's husband still didn't understand what the boss said. That night after school, Bakdong followed Kanja to the bar. He stormed in and made a mess, knocking out most of the bar's staff. Kanja watched helplessly as Bakdong rushed here. It turned out that he had misunderstood Kanja as a prostitute. Gongju was excited when she saw the child come here to find Kanja. Bakdong finally calmed down. Seeing that, Gongju immediately told him to stay and be the son-in-law of this family. Kanja signaled Gongju not to say anything and just act like Bakdong. The relationship between the two gradually improved. Suddenly, Bakdong pushed her against the wall. He asked Kanja if she liked him. Before Kanja could explain, Bakdong shyly ran ahead. Even Bakdong didn't expect him to be so brave. He happily walked into the house and saw the boss drunk. In his drunken state, the boss saw his dead younger brother, but after looking back at the person in front of him, it was only Bakdong. He angrily threw a beer can at Bakdong. Bakdong sadly left the house. Bakdong was waiting for the elevator and accidentally met Aran. He asked Aran why she was here. Aran was equally surprised when he was with the boss. At this moment, the secretary also appeared. Aran wanted to go in to talk, but Bakdong stopped her. But facing Aran's determination, he had to open the door to let Aran in. The two eavesdropped on the boss's conversation. The secretary wanted him to expel Kanja from school. Aran accidentally made a noise that caught the boss's attention. He coldly went to check but only saw Bakdong. Bakdong covered Aran behind. After escaping the disaster, the two quickly ran outside to talk. Aran asked if they had killed her best friend, but Bakdong advised her not to care about this anymore, or she would regret it. The next day, Kanja went to see Noah. She felt guilty for getting him into trouble. Noah was surprised when the students came to take care of him. From cooking to cleaning the house, Kanja did everything. Kanja only agreed to go home when Gongju called. But on the way back, Kangja unexpectedly met the judge. He wondered why she appeared in this area. Kangja greeted politely and ran away. She went into a tea house to investigate the minister's subordinate. Kangja also pretended to be a singer to seduce him. With her beautiful appearance, Kangja successfully made her subordinate pay attention. He told the secret that the minister had a child out of wedlock, but he was not sure who that person was. After getting important information, Gongju intervened to help Kangja escape from this subordinate. The next day, Kangja asked the students to visit Jungwoo's family. At this moment, the cold boss walked over. He angrily attacked Kangja for not listening to him. Bok Dong passed by and accidentally heard the conversation, so he rushed over to stop the boss. Although he was scared, Bok Dong still protected Kangja. Not only Bok Dong but Aran also ran over. As soon as the boss saw Aran, he left. The boss also dragged Bok Dong along to ask for his mistake. Bok Dong did not appear in class all day, so Kangja went to his house to find out. After being beaten, Bok Dong collapsed on the chair. Kangja called for a long time, but no one answered, so she broke the lock and rushed into the house. Bok Dong was surprised when Kangja appeared here. She wanted to take this child to the hospital. At this moment, the boss returned. He angrily threatened her to stay away from his younger brother. Kangja coldly said that his younger brother had died a long time ago. Suddenly, Noah walked in from outside. He was shocked when he learned Kangja's true identity. All this time, he had been deceived by her, but Noah still protected his student. Noah wanted to take Bok Dong to the hospital, but the boss stopped him. He ordered Bok Dong to sit still there. Noah angrily threatened to call the police, but the boss did not have the slightest fear, because he was currently Bok Dong's guardian. Kangja said that he had no right to do so. She encouraged Bok Dong to find a way out of here by himself. Regardless of what the boss said, Bok Dong still followed Kangja's words. He knelt down and said he wanted to live his life. Bok Dong was grateful for what the boss had done for him. It was the boss who gave him food and shelter, but now he wanted to go with them. The boss watched helplessly as his subordinates followed Kangja. They immediately took Bok Dong to the hospital. Kangja now confessed that her true identity was Aran's mother. In order to protect her daughter, she had to pretend to be a student. Until now, Noah still couldn't believe these words. Why would a mother wear a uniform to school? Noah advised her to quit school before things got serious, but Kangja firmly refused this suggestion because she still had to protect her daughter. Bok Dong, lying on the bed, had heard all about that. He angrily stood up and asked her if she was married. He didn't expect that all this time he had been in love with a married woman. Because Bok Dong was too embarrassed, he left immediately. Noah hurriedly chased after Bok Dong and brought him home. Noah curiously asked her father about the old case if Kangja was the murderer. His father shook his head sadly and said that it might not be her. The truth was known only to the two people at the scene, but because the knife was brought by Kangja and the witness's testimony, Kangja was convicted. Outside, Bok Dong was eavesdropping on their conversation. He was still in shock from falling in love with a married woman, and Kangja was even 7 years older than Noah. The next day, Noah still tried to persuade Kangja to drop out of school before everything was exposed, but Kangja insisted on continuing to go to school. She couldn't trust someone else and leave her daughter with. At the same time, the minister was campaigning. He didn't know that Gongju was also there. With her large body, Gongju easily squeezed through the crowd of fans and grabbed the minister's hair. Thanks to that, she was able to get strands of his hair for testing. The subordinates also got Jungwoo's hair. Everything was going according to plan. The news of the minister being pulled by a woman's hair quickly spread online. At the same time, Bok Dong went to visit his brother in prison. The brother became angry when he saw the wound on Bok Dong's face. Bok Dong explained that he had an accident. This time he came here because he had something to say. He told his brother that he would stay away from the boss forever. Bok Dong's brother didn't know what he had been through, but Bok Dong's brother always supported his decision. Seeing his brother like that made Bok Dong unable to hold back his tears. Noah was waiting for him outside. Noah told Bok Dong to keep crying. After that, the two went to eat noodles together. Surprisingly, Bok Dong said that he was not the murderer. Noah was stunned when Bok Dong confessed. Bok Dong repeated that he was not the one who killed Aran's best friend. Noah was touched when Bok Dong told the truth. Bok Dong's visit to his brother was discovered by the gang. Jungwoo was angry when Bok Dong got out of control again. He ordered the boss to settle this matter completely. The next day, Bok Dong went back to school. Kangja approached him to ask him how he was doing, but he didn't care. Kangja knew that Bok Dong was still angry with her. Bok Dong was annoyed when Kangja kept getting close to him. The news that Aran was transferring schools had spread, but before Aran could transfer, Aran and her friends fell into a hole. Everyone in the school quickly came to the rescue, but because the hole was too deep, they had difficulty getting up. The news of the school sinking quickly reached the chairman's ears. It was a sign of poor construction. To make the parents keep it a secret, Jungwoo said that he would compensate for the damage. Kangja was sure that it was half problem. This time, she would have Noah's help. After school, the two went to Gongju's lair. Kangja called her husband to ask if the sinkhole was caused by the project. The husband was annoyed and said it had nothing to do with each other. Kangja knew that her husband was hiding from her, so they all got dressed and broke into the construction site. Noah also enthusiastically helped. When they entered the building under construction, the two were surprised to see many cracks. This was evidence that the foundation was about to collapse. Kangja was taking pictures of the evidence when she discovered someone running going past. They quickly chased after him to arrest him. This stranger was the construction supervisor. Kang-ja loudly asked who told him to do this, but he said that it was all his fault. Because he wanted to get as much money as possible, he bought the cheapest materials. Kang-ja couldn't believe that they were embezzling money to build a school. Before she could finish her sentence, they encountered Bok-dong. He was embarrassed when Kang-ja appeared. Seeing his embarrassed expression, Gong-ju said that it seemed like Bok-dong liked Kang-ja. The next day, Noah met with the parents privately. He tried to convince them to stand up and protest the poor quality of the construction site, but everyone was afraid that it would affect their children, so almost everyone refused. Only a few people agreed to stand up and protest. Kang-ja was present at the construction site early in the morning. However, not a single parent came. The boss was angry when he saw Kang-ja appear in front of him. He ordered Kang-ja to go somewhere else, but Kang-ja still did not give up. She rushed to the excavator to stop it from filling the hole. The boss angrily kicked Kang-ja away. Kang-ja's husband knelt down and begged the boss to spare his wife. While everyone was not paying attention, Noah took the car key. He threatened that if they continued, he would jump down. At this moment, Gong-ju brought the parents of the students to protest. They were all angry when the construction had problems. The board of directors blamed the contractor. Noah immediately opened the recording file to accuse them of changing the design without permission. Everyone was surprised when they learned the truth. Everything seemed to have reached a deadlock. Jung-woo stood up and said he would form an investigation team. If this was true, he would deal with it seriously. Now Noah had become an enemy in their eyes. Jung-woo ordered an investigation to find out who Noah's bodyguard was. That night at the hospital, Kang-ja told her daughter everything. She wanted to arrest those who ordered the construction of the school. They didn't care about the danger to the students and were laundering money. Kang-ja didn't expect that the class monitor was standing outside eavesdropping. He finally knew Kang-ja's identity. He remembered what the chairman had said. As soon as Aran stepped outside, she ran into the class monitor again. She asked him why he was still here. He said disappointedly that he shouldn't have trusted Aran. After saying that, he left angrily. Aran wanted to explain the misunderstanding, so she chased after him. She sneaked into the class monitor's house. Just as the class president was about to call father, Aran grabbed the phone and begged him to keep it a secret. The class monitor was angry when Aran's mother and Aran wanted to arrest his father. At this moment, the chairman came out. Aran quickly hid behind the stone statue. Behind the chairman was the secretary. The chairman angrily scolded the secretary. It seemed that he knew about the secretary's ambiguous relationship with Jung-woo. Seeing the chairman treat the secretary cruelly, the class monitor decided to keep the secret. He hid in his room, thinking alone. Aran wanted to thank him, so she went inside. She saw his tears falling. The two sat down and talked to each other. Aran also had hidden feelings. Aran didn't know that Kang-ja was standing outside the door. She chose to listen to what her daughter said. The class monitor finally understood why Aran's mother did that. He wiped Aran's tears with his hand. Just as the two were about to kiss, Kang-ja suddenly appeared to prevent them from going too far. The two were embarrassed when Kang-ja questioned them. Kang-ja quickly pulled her daughter back. Unexpectedly, the two saw the chairman opening the secret safe. He took out a set of documents and showed it to the secretary. The chairman ordered the secretary to falsify the books. He wanted to put all the blame on Jung-woo. As soon as the chairman left, the secretary was surprised to see Aran and Kang-ja here. Kang-ja told the secretary to hand over what Jung-woo's mother left for Kang-ja, but the secretary refused and warned that she wouldn't let it go next time. After returning home, Kang-ja was scolded by her husband and mother-in-law. They were disappointed when Kang-ja continued to pretend to be a student. Kang-ja looked at her weak husband in front of her in frustration. He even threatened to divorce her. The next day, Kang-ja continued to go to school. As soon as she saw Bok-dong, she pulled him aside to explain, but Bok-dong didn't want to have anything to do with her anymore. At that moment, an excavator passed by. Kang-ja hurriedly ran to the principal's office. Meanwhile, Noah was trying to stop the officials from continuing the construction, but they had already colluded with each other. The minister's subordinate was startled when he saw Kang-ja standing in front of him. He asked why the nightclub singer was here, but when he noticed that she was wearing a school uniform, he immediately ran ahead. But Kang-ja caught up with him. She deliberately touched him and warned that if he didn't stop the construction, she would report him for molesting students. In order to keep his position, he revealed that the minister was the one behind this. That night, everyone gathered at Gong-ju's lair. They had the results of the blood test. Jung-woo and the minister were father and son. As long as they had this evidence in hand, they could sue the minister. That night, the secretary came to Jung-woo's house again. She was struggling in her mind whether to betray Jung-woo or not. While he wasn't paying attention, the secretary sneaked into the room and took out the tape recorder to listen, but after listening to a little bit, she was discovered by Jung-woo. This was what Jung-woo's mother left behind, the decisive evidence that Kang-ja was looking for. The next day, at the election campaign venue, Kang-ja's team was there to hand out flyers to everyone, and they even carefully infiltrated the election staff to take action. The minister finally noticed the strange move. When he discovered the content of the flyer that Kang-ja distributed, he ordered his men to confiscate all of the flyers. After completing the mission, Kang-ja's team quickly ran away. Kang-ja was happy to escape from this place when she was suddenly taken away by a stranger. The fact that the minister had an illegitimate child caused a stir in public opinion. The minister angrily called Jung-woo and the chairman chairman. He said that only 3 people knew the truth. If Jungwoo didn't want to die, then find the mastermind. That night, everyone in the team was very worried when Kanja still hadn't returned. Suddenly, a familiar voice appeared. The person walking behind Kanja was none other than Bakdong. He was worried about her, so he followed her to the election campaign. Bakdong told the truth about the death of Aran's best friend, that Jungwoo was the culprit who pushed her down. Kanja comforted Bakdong that it was okay. Now she would make him pay for it. The next day, many parents called the school to complain. They asked if Jungwoo was really the minister's illegitimate son. To settle the rumor completely, the boss rushed to Gongju's lair. He rushed in alone and defeated all the bodyguards. Gongju invited him in to talk privately to protect her subordinates. When Kanja arrived, the boss had already finished the job. He threatened Kanja to take Aran abroad, or she would die. Kanja rushed in to check on Gongju, but he came here to give Kanja evidence. Soon after, the secretary appeared. She said that Kanja had successfully divided them internally. When the secretary opened her glasses, Kanja was shocked to see her face was beaten and bruised. The secretary gave Kanja the audio file denouncing the minister. He had denied the pregnancy in Jungwoo's womb. Gongju wondered why the secretary wanted to help them. The secretary did so to destroy these evil people, those who had heartlessly beaten her. Soon after, Kanja brought the tape to Noah to listen to. The judge was surprised to see a student at his house. Kanja quickly left before being discovered. The next day, many reporters gathered in front of the school. They were all called by Jungwoo. He wanted to publicize his relationship with the minister, which made the minister extremely angry. Kanja also wanted to take advantage of this to denounce these bad people. Just as Jungwoo was about to reveal his biological father, the minister intervened. The minister admitted that he was Jungwoo's biological father. Suddenly, Kanja shouted loudly that it was the minister who killed Jungwoo's mother. To increase the authenticity of Kanja's words, Noah texted the secretary to play the tape, but what she played was actually the conversation between Aran and Kanja. The secretary betrayed everyone. Kanja's story of pretending to be a student was exposed. Kanja was stunned when she saw the secretary. It turned out that the secretary had been in cahoots with the officials from the beginning. She had deceived Kanja and everyone. Kanja tried to explain the altered recording to the reporter and that it was Jungwoo who made a student pregnant. The minister was the one who protected him, but no one believed what Kanja said. She cried bitterly in the middle of the schoolyard. All her plans had failed. After this incident, the minister was very angry. He ordered Jungwoo to eliminate Kanja. The shock was so great that Kanja had to be hospitalized. Her trust in the secretary was gone. Jungwoo was waiting for the secretary outside. The secretary thought Jungwoo would help her escape from the chairman, but Jungwoo wanted to take advantage of the secretary once again. The news of a mother pretending to be a student to protect her daughter from violence spread widely. Everyone condemned Kanja's actions. Even the doctor treating her thought she was crazy. Kanja almost lost her temper. On the contrary, Jungwoo and the minister took advantage of this opportunity to gain public trust. The minister tried to act like a good father who always protected his child, which was what increased the minister's votes. Kanja tried to seek help from the police, but she herself was a criminal and falsifying documents could result in a 5-year prison sentence. The police ordered them to be detained. At that moment, Noah and the judge appeared. The judge said that they should not investigate from one side like that. The police were annoyed and asked who the two were. The judge said that he worked for the city's chief judge. He would bail Kanja out. Everyone then returned to the judge's house. He criticized Kanja for doing things wrong, but because of maternal love, Kanja pretended to be a student. The opponent was a presidential candidate, and if they didn't act quickly, the children would be in danger. The judge said that they needed to divert public opinion first. The real way to defeat the minister is the political slush fund. The prosecutor's office has been secretly investigating the minister for a long time. He has participated in eliminating his opponents. After the strategy meeting, Bakdong was waiting outside to take Kanja back. He was kind enough to buy tofu to ward off bad luck for Kanja. At this time, reporters had surrounded Kanja's house. Her mother-in-law was angry when she caused trouble. At this time, Kanja returned safely. She sat across from her husband. If Kanja couldn't go to school as a student, she would go as a parent. The next day, Kanja went to the school gate to protest. Now Kanja was no different from a famous idol. The students always gathered around her to ask for pictures, but there was still a group of students who always looked down on Kanja and spoke ill of her. The fact that a mother pretended to be a student attracted the press. Many reporters gathered in front of the school to interview Kanja. Jungwoo made an offer to the boss. As long as the boss handles Kanja neatly, he will promote the boss. Before everything outside is over, Kanja is bothered by her husband again at home. He threatens her that if she continues, he will divorce her. The husband is incapable of protecting his wife, but Kanja cannot do this. Aran, who is standing outside, heard everything. Aran is disappointed that her father treats her mother like that. Kanja's sincerity has moved the other parents. They gradually support Kanja more. Noah asks her if she knows where the chairman hides confidential documents. Kanja tells Noah that he has a secret safe. Noah, as the homeroom teacher, goes to see him at home. The chairman is wary when Noah arrives, but as soon as the chairman enters the office, Noah goes to open the secret safe. Based on the information collected, Noah tried each password. Noah's actions were accidentally seen by the secretary. While Noah was trying to try the password, the class monitor ran over. The two quickly pretended to be catching a cockroach downstairs. Thanks to that, Noah escaped the chairman's suspicion. The class monitor quickly pulled Noah into a private room. Noah was surprised when the class monitor helped him. The class monitor said that he just didn't want them to be in danger. The next day, many parents protested against Kangja's protest in front of the school. It turned out that Jungwoo had spread the news that Kangja had killed someone. As soon as they threw eggs at Kangja, Bok Dong ran over to protect her. The woman came forward to cause trouble with them. The matter became more and more serious, so the parents reported to the police to arrest Kangja. Aran saw her mother being treated badly, so she ran to find the boss. He was the one who killed his younger brother. The boss was angry but couldn't bear to hit Aran. The little girl cried and asked the boss if he was her father. The boss was stunned and turned around to tell the little girl the truth that he was not her biological father. After saying that, he left, leaving Aran crying alone. Kangja was immediately arrested at the police station. Noah was upset that the police were bribed. That night, after Aran finished school, a reporter approached her and wanted to interview her. The class monitor happened to pass by and was curious to see. He wondered if this guy was really a reporter. Right when the class monitor returned home, he accidentally heard the chairman talking to the reporter. It turned out that his suspicions were correct. They had captured Aran to threaten Kangja. The class monitor was furious when the chairman intended to harm Aran, but he couldn't fight back against the chairman. The chairman dragged his son into the room and locked the door. The class monitor tried to knock on the door, but no one listened, so he climbed on his large displacement vehicle and broke the door and rushed out. But he knew he couldn't save Aran alone, so he texted Bok Dong to come help. At this time, Aran was still trying to tell the reporter what she knew. At that moment, the chairman walked in. Aran looked at the chairman in fear. He threatened to kill Kangja if she resisted. As soon as the chairman got mad, the class monitor broke the door and rushed in, telling him to stop. The chairman was extremely shocked to see his son betray him. He got mad and beat his son up. At that moment, the boss appeared. He told the kids to go away, and he would give the chairman a big gift. Bok Dong came later and heard the conversation between the two. The boss showed the tape of Jungwoo killing someone. The chairman laughed loudly when he finally grasped Jungwoo's weakness. With this tape, he could get rid of Jungwoo forever. Kangja, after being detained all day, would finally be released. Kangja was very angry when her daughter was arrested, so she went to the chairman's house alone to deal with it. At this time, the secretary was also trying to open the chairman's safe. The door slowly opened. The secretary was scared when Kangja appeared in front of her, but Kangja didn't care about the secretary. Kangja quickly opened the secret safe and took away the evidence book. Suddenly, the secretary held a knife and threatened Kangja to hand over the book, but Kangja wasn't afraid at all. Kangja angrily beat the secretary and left. The chairman saw the whole incident. He ordered the boss to take back the book. Kangja returned to Noah's house and saw the boss there. He was the one who attacked Noah. Kangja was disappointed that the boss continued to do bad things. If the construction continued, many students would die. The boss said that if she continued to stop them, Aran would be the one to die, so she should hand over the notebook to him. Kangja hesitated a bit at his request. The boss gently walked over, took the notebook, and left. Kangja could not resist. As soon as the boss returned home, he accidentally met the secretary packing her luggage. The boss gave the secretary the chairman's notebook and told her to give it to Jungwoo. The secretary was touched that the boss treated her so well. She held the notebook tightly in her hand and gave it to Jungwoo. Now he was the secretary's only protector. Jungwoo was very happy after seeing the notebook. He went forward and hugged the secretary as a reward. Meanwhile, Kangja took Noah to the hospital. She regretted letting him get involved in this. Gongju advised Kangja to prioritize protecting her daughter, because the other children have their parents take care. Suddenly, Gongju received a phone call from her subordinates. When Gongju arrived, the bar was already vandalized, but the one who attacked them was the prosecutor. They said that someone had accused Gongju of illegal business, so Gongju was arrested. It turned out that all of this was set up by the boss. He wanted to force Kangja to take her daughter abroad. Kangja rushed to Noah's house to check on Bok Dong, but he was packing his luggage to return home. Kangja tried to convince him to stay, but failed. Bok Dong decided to side with the boss. In just one day, Kangja lost all her allies. She didn't know that Bok Dong returned to find the tape that the chairman kept. Kangja collapsed and returned home. Aran was very worried when she saw her mother so tired. Kangja hugged Aran and told them to go abroad. The next day, Aran was going to study abroad and the school reported it. The class monitor was upset that Aran didn't tell him, but it was all because the chairman forced them to move. However, Kangja's mother-in-law didn't want the whole family to go abroad. She even insulted Aran for not being their biological child. Kangja was fed up with living in his family, so she accepted her husband's divorce proposal. That night, Bok Dong broke into the boss's private room. He tried to unlock the safe. As soon as the door was opened, the boss suddenly appeared behind Bok Dong. He angrily asked Bok Dong what he was looking for. Bok Dong was scared and begged the boss to spare his life. The boss shouted at Bok Dong to go away and not come back. The next day, the minister came to inaugurate the school. Many reporters came to record this moment. Jungwoo turned to the officials. They held a secret meeting last night. He wanted to push all the blame onto the chairman. The secretary had collected evidence of the poor quality of the project. Jungwoo was pleased that he had grasped the chairman's weakness. The press conference was held immediately afterwards, but before the video was released, the chairman called the minister to attend. It seemed that the chairman had already learned of Jung-woo's plan. The chairman warned Jung-woo to never secretly harm me again. If Jung-woo wanted to live, he should be obedient. Jung-woo smugly took out the secret notebook. As long as he had the notebook in his hand, he wouldn't be afraid of the chairman, but he didn't know that this notebook was fake. The real notebook was hidden somewhere else by the chairman. Now it was the chairman's turn to attack. He showed the video of Jung-woo killing someone. The secretary was scared when he saw the chairman's true nature. The minister was so angry that Jung-woo always got in his way. He should have killed Jung-woo a long time ago. The secretary was then mercilessly beaten by the chairman. The next day, Ah-ran went to the last class to say goodbye to her friends. Kanja had decided to divorce and take her daughter abroad. Meanwhile, Bok-dong was trying to find the file to save the tape that the boss had hidden. As soon as he found the USB, the boss suddenly entered the room, but because of a phone call, he left. Large cracks suddenly appeared in the school. No-ah knew that this was the result of poor construction, so No-ah immediately grabbed Kang-ja's weak husband's hand to ask the reason, but he himself did not know if the student's room was affected. The urgent matter now was to evacuate first, but the chairman forbade them from revealing this to the outside world. He ordered that the students be off school tomorrow. Fix everything tonight. Kang-ja's weak husband decided to fix the pipes himself. If he did not act quickly, the school would likely collapse. No-ah ran to inform the students to leave because the school was about to collapse. Many students were scared and ran away from the school. Bok-dong arrived at the school later, so he didn't know that the school was about to collapse. Before he could calm down, the ceiling suddenly collapsed. Kang-ja was driving on the road when she heard the bad news that many students couldn't escape from the rubble. In just a moment, the school was just a pile of rubble. Kang-ja rushed to the school to find her daughter. She was scared when she saw many students seriously injured. Kang-ja rushed to the scene and found her daughter's shoes. She was heartbroken as she dug up layers of dirt and rocks, but luckily Ah-ran escaped before the wall collapsed. At this time, she saw the boss worrying about her. Ah-ran asked again if he was her biological father, but the boss left without a reply. Kang-ja saw Ah-ran and immediately ran to hug her. The next day, the protesters blocked Jung-woo's way. They wanted an answer for what had happened. A mass funeral for the unfortunate students was also held. Kang-ja's cowardly husband, who stayed behind to repair the school, also passed away. Kang-ja looked at her husband's portrait with heartache. Jung-woo was currently being severely scolded by the parents. The chairman hid in the hospital because he wanted to push the blame onto Jung-woo. The school collapse case was now brought to court. Jung-woo hired the best lawyers in the country to defend him, but the chairman still hadn't left the hospital. Kang-ja's side trusted the judge's student to handle the case. The lawyer presented evidence documenting the violations and purchasing materials, but the opposing lawyers took turns refuting this argument. Kang-ja's side was at a disadvantage against them. To change the situation, the lawyer released the tape of the conversation between the chairman and Jung-woo. They already knew about the problem with the project, but this was a secret tape. It was not legal in court. The lawyer continued to attack Jung-woo, but they still did not have conclusive evidence. The trial was temporarily postponed, pending a new trial date. Jung-woo's group was still very arrogant. Letting someone die replace in his place was not effective. The chairman would find another solution. To gain an advantage before the next trial, the chairman's group bribed the reporters. They attacked Kang-ja's bad past. The protesters still gathered in front of the school gate. They were the parents of the dead students. No-ah led the protesters to demand that they take responsibility. The chairman, after hiding in the hospital for a long time, had to come forward. He told the reporters that he was completely innocent and that he also had a son studying in the school. Not to mention his son was also a victim of this collapse. When he was gradually gaining the trust of the press, the class president suddenly appeared. The class monitor was not seriously injured, as the chairman said. The reporters immediately turned their cameras to the class monitor. The chairman was angry that his son dared to appear here. The class monitor only came to ask for permission to return to school. Tonight was also the memorial day for the unfortunate victims. Ah-ran was worried when she saw the class monitor was also present, but he decided to side with Ah-ran. He would escape from this evil father once and for all. Meanwhile, Kang-ja was visiting Bok-dong Hospital. He had been in a coma since being rescued from the rubble. Everyone was worried about Bok-dong. At the same time, the secretary went to see the boss. He gave the secretary evidence of Jung-woo's betrayal. Jung-woo had used the secretary's name to register the account to receive dirty money. The secretary now realized that she had always been taken advantage of. She angrily told the boss to take action first. She didn't want to die alone. The secretary went to see Jung-woo to ask why he betrayed her, but Jung-woo only saw her as a tool to use and then left. He challenged the secretary to report him. Kang-ja's side also found the dirty cash flow in the name of the secretary. This was the price for betrayal. Suddenly, the police contacted Kang-ja. They found Bok-dong's phone at the scene of the collapse. Inside was the evidence that Bok-dong had risked his life to collect. Kang-ja painfully looked at the image of Ah-ran's best friend, but what shocked them was that Jung-woo had murdered Ah-ran's best friend. Kang-ja had grasped Jung-woo's weakness, so in the dark of night, she texted Jung-woo to lure him to the rooftop. While drunk, he saw an illusion of Ah-ran's best friend. All of his words were recorded. The tape was then sent to the minister. He was angry that his son was always causing trouble. The group was once again disunited. All suspicious eyes were on the secretary, but the boss boss confessed that it might be Bok Dong, so he would take on the task of getting this evidence back. The boss immediately visited Bok Dong in the hospital. He looked at his stupid subordinate in disappointment. In order to get the phone back, the boss broke into Kangja's house. However, she was not there now. He searched the room, but found no evidence. The boss then went to see Gongju to ask where Kangja was. He threatened that if she did not tell him, he would put her subordinates in jail. In order to protect her subordinates, Gongju confessed that Kangja had gone to the library. Kangja did not know the danger that was coming. She and Noah were trying to break into the secret room in the school. After a while of searching, she finally opened it. Suddenly, the boss appeared behind Kangja. A moment later, the chairman also appeared. The boss said that Kangja had entered the room. The chairman proudly opened the door and went into the secret room to look for Kangja, but there was no one inside. At this moment, many reporters appeared. The chairman knew that he had been set up. The boss decided to betray him to help Kangja. It turned out that when the boss visited Bok Dong in the hospital, he held the boss's hand. It was Aran who made the boss change his mind. Aran knew her true identity. Aran was the daughter of the boss's dead younger brother. In order to help his niece live in peace, the boss decided to help them. The chairman was angry when he was deceived. The news of his arrest reached Jung-woo. He couldn't let himself die alone, so when the next trial took place, the prosecutor searched the chairman's house. Kangja's lawyer said that the secretary took bribes and also the secret room in the school. Suddenly, the lawyer asked the court to allow witnesses. Bok Dong slowly walked in. The lawyer asked him to tell everything that happened on the rooftop. Bok Dong painfully recounted the scene where Jung-woo pushed the victim down. His tears touched the hearts of many people. Jung-woo became the center of criticism. The lawyer then submitted a video recording of Jung-woo killing someone. The lawyer requested an urgent arrest of this evil man. Jung-woo was then taken away by the police. There were no more allies by his side. The chairman ordered people to destroy all evidence. Kangja won the trial today, but they still haven't caught the minister and the chairman. They need more evidence for the third trial. The minister secretly contacted the prosecutors. He wanted them to postpone the third trial. As long as he was elected president, everything would be over. Today, the class monitor's mother returned. No, I asked for her help to denounce the chairman. This was discovered by the chairman, so they followed orders and came to take the mother back. The class monitor quickly told everyone to take his mother away first, and he would stay behind to stop them. Seeing her son accept sacrifice moved the mother. The chairman was angry that his son betrayed him. The worried mother called the chairman. He threatened that if she told anything, he would kill her son. This made the mother hesitate. She couldn't let her son be in danger. In contrast to the mother's feelings for her son, the minister was willing to give Jung-woo the highest punishment. He decided to abandon his own son. Jung-woo asked the lawyer to let him make a phone call. He wanted the secretary to come see him, but the secretary refused. Before hanging up, Jung-woo revealed that he had prepared a gift, and only the secretary knew where it was. Kangja still tried to convince the class monitor's mother to fight bravely. She asked the police to intervene to save the class monitor. Seeing Kangja's determination, the mother had more courage to save her son. The chairman was angry when the police came here. They received information that the chairman was illegally holding his son, so they could go in and take the class monitor away. The minister still acted like a good person, but Kangja knew his true nature too well. The minister brought out a suitcase full of money. He wanted to bribe Kangja to keep this transfer a secret. Kangja was angry when the minister showed no remorse. As soon as the class monitor was saved, everyone quickly left. The chairman shouted loudly and asked the class monitor if he dared to leave the house. In order to protect his mother's safety, the class monitor decided to stay here. He also encouraged his mother to do what she should do. Things were going against the minister. He ordered the chairman to bring him the real book, but now the book was in the bank safe. It was not easy for the chairman to hand it over to the minister. That same night, the chairman called another candidate. He was trying to find someone who could save him. Everything the chairman did was seen by the class monitor. At the same time, the secretary went to the restaurant where they used to eat. The manager, following Jung-woo's orders, gave the secretary a box. On the outside, it was just a normal necklace, but inside, Jung-woo had prepared a recording file. Today was the third trial day. The witness today was the chairman's ex-wife. She accused her ex-husband of violence. As a mother who witnessed the building collapse, she could not let him continue to cause trouble. Not only was the chairman under investigation, but the minister was also under investigation for the illegal money. Now they were not only denying responsibility, but the chairman wanted to escape punishment, so he pushed all responsibility onto the minister. To settle this case, the lawyer invited Jung-woo to be a witness. The evidence was handed over to the court. This recording proved that Jung-woo was the minister's biological son. The minister was scared when his true nature was revealed. All the evidence was now against him, and all of them had to receive appropriate sentences. Kangja was now back to normal life, but the joy was short-lived. Shortly after being imprisoned, the chairman was released. Before being arrested, he had sided with another candidate. The chairman handed over his notebook to them. His release from prison was a gift. Immediately after being released from prison, he ordered people to arrest Kangja to take revenge. When the boss found out, he was very angry. When the police weren't paying attention, he secretly knocked down the police and escaped. Immediately after that, he called to meet Aran. The girl was surprised to see the boss, but he escaped because he wanted to see Aran one last time. The boss said that Aran was actually his niece. He had accidentally killed his younger brother. Aran was moved when the boss told the truth. After finishing what he needed to do, the boss rushed to the chairman's base to save Kang Ja. The chairman was surprised to see the boss out of prison. The chairman quickly took Kang Ja hostage, but Kang Ja defeated him herself. Taking this opportunity, the boss rushed forward and continuously punched the president in the face. Kang Ja quickly ran over to stop the boss. She asked him if he wanted to kill people again like before. The boss has now calmed down. He apologized for blaming her for everything in the past. Suddenly, the chairman stood up holding a weapon and intending to attack Kang Ja. Seeing that, the boss quickly rushed forward and pushed him into the pile of bricks behind. The chairman painfully begged the two to save him, but the boss refused and left the place. As soon as they left, a stranger appeared. That person decisively killed the chairman. The enemy finally had to pay for their actions. Everyone returned to normal life. The teacher-student relationship gradually became better. Kang Ja happily watched Aran live innocently, true to her age. A new, good beginning was waiting for them ahead. The movie ended here. Thank you for watching the movie. See you again in the next movies.